According to child rumors, Solange is furious that her sister Beyonce is being drawn into the Diddy case because she has made numerous unsuccessful attempts to get her to leave her marriage to Jay-Z and any relationship she may have had with Diddy. She allegedly dipped when she realized Beyonce was not paying attention to her. And when I tell you that Jay-Z and Beyonce's attorneys are on high alert with everything that is taking place, I'm not kidding when I say that just after Piers Morgan's interview with Jaguar Wright, the lawyer wrote Piers a letter claiming that they were doing the same to everyone who brought up Beyonce and Jay-Z in relation to Diddy's baby. Before Jay-Z made those accusations, Beyonce and Jay-Z never replied to anything, so could she be onto anything again?
I think there could be.
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping
Porter?
people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits. These are normal practices of these people.
Okay, guys, if there's one thing we know about Solange so far, it's that she will defend her sister Beyonce. I mean on the surveillance footage from the May 2014 incident at a Met Gala after party. Beyonce saw Solange kissing her brother-in-law. They even mentioned a time when Solange nearly called the police on their father because she believed he intended to harm Beyonce. Solange has always been fiercely protective of Beyonce. Jay-Z and Beyonce knew what was coming until their relationship became visibly estranged and theories linked it to Diddy. We already know that investigations and interviews regarding Diddy were underway about a year before Cassie dropped her lawsuit, so Jay-Z and Beyonce knew what was going to happen. Additionally, Solange and Beyonce stopped talking strangely around a year before the lawsuit, which is when it is said that Solange was aware of these connections and made a concerted effort to get Beyonce out of the marriage. To cover the basis of how Beyonce and Jay-Z have been mentioned, one theory is that due to Beyonce and her husband's power in the music industry and their well-documented relationship with Diddy over the years, Diddy would have other artists killed if they became a threat to Beyonce. This is because Beyonce reportedly knew that Jay-Z would one day be associated with something nasty, which is what is currently happening. The lyrics of rapper J. Cole's 2013 song, She Knows, contain references to R&B singers Aaliyah and Lisa Lefty Lopez, who were both ascending in the music industry at the same time as Beyonce before they passed away in strange circumstances, according to conspiracy theorists. In their victory speech, Adele famously cut her Grammy in two to share with Beyonce in 2017 after calling her the artist of her life. Fans also noticed a trend of prominent musicians frequently referencing or appreciating Beyonce.
Accept this award, and I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful and gracious, but my artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album for me, the Lemonade album, was just so monumental. Beyonce, it was so monumental and so well thought out and so beautiful and soul-bearing, and we all got to see another side to you that you don't always let us see, and we appreciate that. And all us artists here, we f***ing adore you. You are our light. And the way that you make me and my friends feel, the way you make my black friends feel is empowering, and you make them stand up for themselves. And I love you. I always have, and I always will.
Naturally, there is also the instance in which Kanye West stopped Taylor Swift's 2009 VMA victory speech to assert Beyonce had one of the greatest videos ever made.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
You want to know who is not interested in any allegiance to the Carters, but supposedly all of these musicians were compelled to demonstrate their loyalty to Beyonce in order to avoid being discovered dead somewhere under suspicious circumstances. Jason Lee stated in a recent podcast episode that he has been receiving calls from people who want to allegedly quell the rumors about the couple's relationship with Buffy. Jason Lee, who was like Jay-Z, went on a tirade at the start of the video because he was upset that he hadn't received any calls for the Rock Nation brunch, but had been receiving calls about drama. "I can tell you're observing since you're phoning me. Quit contacting me, you may call me directly. Know how to obtain my phone number for those who missed the interview." Jaguar said that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a nasty couple who keep people against their will and put them on planes while they're unconscious to illegally transport them across borders. You know, Jason Lee probably called Jason Lee like he did with Piers Morgan, who was forced to apologize to the couple for hosting Jaguar on his uncensored show. "You have people calling me. Call me yourself because this is going viral. I'll tell the audience if I do come up missing, all the calls I've been receiving have been about him."
Potentially, do you think there could be?
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices of these people.
When this interview was made public, Carter's attorney, Alex Espio, initially addressed the accusations made by Jaguar by stating that there were rumors and then that there was nonsense. He then went on to say that Jack's remarks were a formal and pointed accusation of something, which is why he gave Pierce a legal ultimatum demanding that the interview be removed in order to remove the demonstrably false accusation. The attorney also discussed why their legal team escalated their response to Pierce in this manner, stating that what changed in my mind was that someone on a so-called journalistic platform took advantage of that type of rumor mill and brought it up. And by doing so, they not only caused harm, but are also drowning out the voices of actual affected people, which was too much for me. Spoken out during Diddy's case, their response to Pierce's claims was their own kind of response. He said, "As for the Carters, I can tell you when they put their foot down as they did here, they are sending a message, and if they can't stand up and say right from wrong, then who can? I have always believed the truth will come out here." Pierce also apologized, explaining that he and Bey, through their attorney, were considering legal action if he didn't remove Jaguar's claims from the interview. He said that Jaguar unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they weren't present to respond or defend themselves, but now their lawyers have contacted us to say that those claims were completely untrue and unfounded, so we comply with a legal request to remove them from the original interview. The reality of the modern world is that almost everyone has a platform as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear, which is why we invited them to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience, whether or not they have shows like mine. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored, but like the proverbial cries of fire in a packed theater, there are legal limitations on us as well. We apologize to Jay-Z and Beyonce. As for whether or not Beyonce or Jay-Z will be directly commenting on anything, a source close to them stated that they have remained conspicuously silent since the news of Diddy's arrest. Although Pierce apologized, it doesn't really matter because Jag isn't the only person who has brought up HOV and Bey in connection with Diddy. In fact, there were claims that Jay-Z and Beyonce were mentioned in the original lawsuit that Cassie filed, in which she implicated them by discussing an incident that occurred at one of Diddy's parties and Beyonce warning Cass about Diddy. This information was leaked by a source who said, "I want to put you on notice about some more information that is coming out of the original 60-page lawsuit that Cassie and her lawyers initially filed against Diddy. It has been reported that Jay-Z and Beyonce witnessed Diddy hit her and push her down at one of Diddy's parties, but the location, time, and date of this incident were not disclosed because other privacy issues and other concerns about this matter. Their lawyer, who has been working extra hard lately, made sure that Beyonce and Jay-Z were not mentioned in the lawsuit, but you know what? Solange allegedly knew about the connection to and did her best to warn Beyonce and pull her out of her marriage with Jay-Z, but Ba was stubborn. I've even seen reports that say that Ba and Solange are not as close as they once were because she got tired of trying to pull Beyonce out of whatever she's involved in. If you recall, sometime last year, it became fairly obvious that Solange and Beyonce had something going on. An insider even stated at the time that we all thought it was strange that Solange wasn't included in Beyonce's new album because it's the kind of sound that's right up Solange's alley. Not only was Solange not involved in Beyonce's endeavor, but they also pointed out that she hadn't sent out a single Instagram post or tweet in favor of Renaissance. The insiders stated that they had no first-hand evidence of a rift between the two, but they did say, "I've heard things about their relationship. I think something is definitely going on between them." The source also added, "I think it's weird for her not to be out supporting Beyonce B. This is because Beyonce took a chance on her most recent album, Renaissance, and she actually needed everyone's support to make it the hit note." Additionally, Solange failed to congratulate Beyonce on her Grammy wins, especially since she was acknowledged as the artist with the most Grammys in Grammy history. And while she thanked everyone else in her acceptance speech, she did not mention her.
Thank God for protecting me. Thank you, God. I'd like to thank my Uncle Johnny, who's not here, but he's here in spirit. I'd like to thank my parents, my father, my mother, for loving me and pushing me. I'd like to thank my beautiful husband, my beautiful 3 children who are at home watching. I'd like to thank the queer community for your love and for inventing this genre. God bless you. Thank you so much.
There were even tales that the two were so tense that they physically abused one another in a blind fit of rage after a lengthy dispute. And B suffered injuries that necessitated medical care and more than 2 weeks of bed rest due to more severe damage to her leg. It is said that Solange is fed up with fighting for Beyonce, which is the reason behind her decision to remain silent as well. But it has been stated that she was aware of the connection and attempted to alert Beyonce. We can all agree that something is happening there, but if it has anything to do with... In relation to Diddy, I'm not sure what you think, but if you notice the link, please share your thoughts in the space provided below.